355, Vedas, 22 verses. At the first shining of the earliest mornings, in the cow's home was born the great Eternal. Now shall the statutes of the gods be valid. Great is the gods' supreme and sole dominion. Let not the gods here injure us, O Agni, nor fathers of old time, who know the region, nor the sign set between the two ancient dwellings. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. My wishes fly abroad to many places. I glance back to the ancient sacrifices. Let us declare the truth when fire is kindled. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. King universal, born to sundry quarters, extended through the wood. He lies on couches. One mother rests, another feeds the infant. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Lodged in old plants, he grows again and younger, swiftly within the newly born and tender. Though they are unimpregnated, he makes them fruitful. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Now lying far away, child of two mothers, he wanders unrestrained, the single youngling. These are the laws of Varuna and Mitra. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Child of two mothers, priest, sole lord in synods, he still proceeds while resting as foundation. They who speak sweetly bring him sweet addresses. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. As to a friendly warrior, when he battles, each thing that comes anear is seen to meet him. The hymn comingless with the cow's oblation. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Deep within these the hoary envoy pierceth. Mighty, he goeth to the realm of splendor, and looketh on us, clad in wondrous beauty. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Vishnu the guardian keeps the loftiest station, upholding dear, immortal dwelling places. Agni knows well all these created beings. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Ye variant pair, have made yourselves twain beauties. One of the twain is dark, bright shines the other, and yet these two, the dark, the red, are sisters. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Where the two cows, the mother and the daughter, meet and give suck, yielding their lordly nectar, I praise them at the seat of law eternal. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Loud hath she lowed, licking the other's youngling. On what world hath the milch cow laid her udder? This Illa streameth with the milk of order. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Earth weareth beauties manifold. Earth weareth beauties manifold. Uplifted, licking her calf of 18 months, she standeth, well skilled. I seek the seat of law eternal. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Within a wondrous place the twins are treasured. The one is manifest, the other hidden. One common pathway leads in two directions. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Let the milch kine that have no calves storm downward, yielding rich nectar, streaming unexhausted. These who are ever new and fresh and youthful. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. What time the bull bellows in other regions, another herd receives the genial moisture, for he is Balga, king, the earth's protector. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Let us declare the hero's wealth and horses. O all ye folk of this, the gods of knowledge, sixfold they bear him, or my fives are harnessed. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Bashtar the god, the omniform creator, begets and feeds mankind in various manner. His, verily, ark all these living creatures. Great is the god's supreme dominion. The two great meeting bowls hath he united. Each of the pair is laden with his treasure. The hero is renowned for gathering riches. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Yea, and on this our earth, the all-sustainer dwells like a king with noble friends about him. In his protection, heroes rest in safety. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. Rich in their gifts for thee are herbs and waters, and earth brings all her wealth for thee, O Indra. May we, as friends of thine, share goodly treasures. Great is the god's supreme and sole dominion. And we have this idea of unity between the light beings, but we can talk about gods in terms of quantitative or qualitative. So some of these terms can be used to refer to one deity, but one of the points I think was made here is the manner in which you do the rituals. This is the sort of manner that you should carry in your other life, or perhaps you can tell how a person will be in rituals when you look at how their manners are outside of rituals. Hymn 356, Visvadevas, 8 verses. Not men of magic skill, not men of wisdom, impair the gods' first steadfast ordinances. Ne'er may the earth and heaven, which know not malice, nor the fixed hills, be bowed by sage devices. One moving, not away supports 6 burthens. The cows proceed to him, the true, the highest. Near stand 3 mighty ones who travel swiftly. 2 are concealed from sight, 1 is apparent, the bull who wears all shapes, the triple-breasted, 3 uttered, with a brood in many places, roareth majestic with his triple aspect, the bull, the everlasting ones, pregnanter. When nigh them, as their tracer, he observed them, he called aloud the dear name of Adityas. The goddess, the waters, stayed to meet him. They who were wandering separate enclosed him. Streams, the wise gods, have thrice 3 habitations. The child of 3 mothers, he is Lord in synods. 3 are the holy ladies of the waters. Thrice here from heaven, supreme in our assembly. Do thou, O Savitar, from heaven, thrice hither, 3 times a day, send down thy blessings daily. Send us, O Banga, triple wealth and treasure. Cause the 2 worlds to prosper us, preserver. Savitar thrice from heaven pours down abundance, and the fair-handed kings, Varuna, Mitra, in the spacious heaven and earth, yea, and the waters, solicit wealth, that Savitar may send us. 3 are the bright realms, best, beyond attainment, and 3 the Asura's heroes, rule as sovereigns, holy and vigorous, never to be injured. Thrice may the gods from heaven attain our synod. And, well, we think of the 3 created realms, right? We have the light beings, we have the fire beings, we have the clay beings, and humans are the ones with the, free will among the clay beings. We think of ourselves as having, 3 sets of 2 holes, and then we have 3 1-hole groups. So perhaps we can think of that in terms of things, or if we look at the, triad way of heading down the body, perhaps the dot and Malkut would be a separate thing there. And, well, the Kabbalah is something different, but, that's what I was thinking of. Hymn 357, Visvadevas, 6 verses. My thought, with fine discernment, hath discovered the cow, who wanders free without a herdsman, her who hath straightway poured me food in plenty. Indra and Agni, therefore, are her praisers. Indra and Pushan, deft of hand and mighty, well pleased, have drained the heavens' exhaustless udder, As in this praise the gods have all delighted, may I win blessing here from you, O Vasus. Fain to lean bigger to the bull, the sisters with reverence recognize the germ within him. The cows come lowing hither to the youngling, to him endued with great and wondrous beauties. Fixing with thought at sacrifice the pressed stones, I bid the well-formed heaven and earth come hither, for these thy flames, which give men boons in plenty, rise up on high. The beautiful, the holy, Agne, thy meek, sweet tongue, that tastes fair viands, which among gods is called the far extended. Therewith make all the holy odes be seated here for our help, and feed them with sweet juices. Let thy stream give us drink, O God, O Agne, wonderful and exhaustless, like the rain clouds. Thus, care for us, O Vasu Vedas, show us thy loving kindness, reaching all men. And people will say that beneficence of some sort, guidance, something material, doesn't reach everybody. And, well, it does, but which of it are we taking the opportunity, and which of it, of course, is taken away by others? Which is our right? Of which is our right? Hymn 358, Athens, 9 verses. The ancient's milch cow yields the things we long for. The son of Dakshina travels between them. She with the splendid chariot brings refulgence. The praise of Ushas hath awoke the Athens. They bear you hither by the well-ordered statute. Our sacred offerings rise as if to parents. Destroy in us the counsel of the niggard. Come hitherward, for we have shown you favor. With lightly rolling car and well-yoked horses, hear this, the pressed stone song, ye wonder-workers. Have not the sages of old time, ye Athens, called you most prompt to come and stay misfortune? Remember us and come to us, for ever men, as their wont is, invocate the Athens. Friends, as it were, have offered you these juices, sweet, blent with milk, at the first break of morning. Even through many regions, O ye Athens, high praise is yours among mankind, ye mighty, come helpers on the paths which gods have traveled. Here your libations of sweet meat are ready. Ancient your home, auspicious is your friendship. Heroes your wealth is with the house of Jahnu. Forming again with you auspicious friendship, let us rejoice with the draughts of meat together, O Athens, very mighty ones, with Vayu and with his steeds, one-minded, ever youthful, Nasatyas, joining in the third day's Soma. Drink it, not hostile. Very bounteous givers, Athens, to you are brought abundant viands in rivalry with sacred songs unceasing. Sprung from high law, your car, urged on by pressed stones, goes round the earth and heaven in one brief moment. Athens, your Soma sheds delicious sweetness. Drink ye thereof, and come unto our dwelling. Your car, assuming many a shape, most often goes to the Soma presser's place of meeting. And it helps to have a routine of the watches of the day and night. Hymn 359, Mitra, 9 verses. Mitra, when speaking, stirreth men to labor. Mitra sustaineth both the earth and heaven. Mitra beholdeth men with eyes that close not. To Mitra bring with holy oil oblation. Foremost be he who brings thee food, O Mitra, who strives to keep thy sacred law, Aditya. He whom thou helpest ne'er is slain or conquered. On him from near or far falls no affliction. Joying in sacred food and free from sickness, with knees bent lowly on the earth's broad surface. Following closely the Aditya's statute, may we remain in Mitra's gracious favor. Auspicious and adorable, this Mitra was born with fair dominion, king, disposer. May we enjoy the grace of him, the holy, yea, rest in his perpetuous loving kindness, the great Aditya, to be served with worship, who stirreth men is gracious to the singer. To Mitra, him most highly to be lauded, offer in fire oblation that he loveth, the gainful grace of Mitra, God's supporter of the race of man. Give splendor of most glorious fame, Mitra, whose glory spreads afar, he who in might surpasses heaven, surpasses earth in his renown. All the 5 races have repaired to Mitra, ever strong to aid, for he sustaineth all the gods. Mitra to gods, to living men, to him who strews the holy grass, gives food, fulfilling sacred law. And these 9 verses make one think that when it comes to certain beings or things, that there is a different law. And certain places, of course. Hymn 360, Rebus, 7 verses. Here is your ghostly kinship, hear, O men. They came desirous to these holy rites with store of wealth, with wondrous arts whereby, with schemes to meet each need, ye gained, Sudandvan's sons, your share in sacrifice, and the mighty powers wherewith ye formed the chalices, the thought by which ye drew the cow from out the hide, the intellect wherewith ye wrought the 2 bay steeds. Through these, O Rebus, ye attained divinity. Friendship with Indra have the Rebus fully gained. Grandsons of Manu, they skillfully urged the work. Sudandvan's children won them everlasting life, serving with holy rites, pious with noble acts. In company with Indra come ye to the juice, then gloriously shall your wishes be fulfilled. Not to be paragoned, ye priests, are your good deeds, nor your heroic acts. Rebus, Sudandvan's sons, O Indra, with the Rebus, mighty ones, pour down the soma juice infused, well blent from both thy hands. Mangavan, urged by song in the drink Opera's house, rejoice thee with the heroes, with Sudandvan's sons, with Rebu near and Vaja. Indra here exult, with Satche, praise to many. In the juice we pour, these homes wherein we dwell have turned themselves to thee, devotions to the gods as laws of men ordain. Come with the mighty Rebus, Indra, come to us, strengthening with thy help the singer's holy praise. At 100 eager calls, come to the living man, with 1,000 arts attend the act of sacrifice. And it's important that our pious acts are something that the secular people will not consider religious. Now, with the right intention, everything is religious, because it's regulated by that relationship. Hymn 361, Ushas, 7 verses. O Ushas, strong with strength, endowed with knowledge, accept the singer's praise. O wealthy lady, thou goddess, ancient, young, and full of wisdom, movest all bounteous as the law ordaineth. Shine forth, O morning, thou auspicious goddess, on thy bright car awakening pleasant voices. Let docile horses of far-reaching splendor convey thee hitherward. The golden-colored, thou morning, turning thee to every creature, standest on high as ensign of the immortal. To one same goal ever and ever, wending now like a wheel, O newly born, roll hither. Let her reins drop downward. Morning cometh, the wealthy dame, the lady of the dwelling, bringing forth light, the wonderful, the blessed, hath spread her from the bounds of earth and heaven. Hither invoke the radiant goddess morning, and bring with reverence your hymn to praise her. She, dropping sweets, hath set in heaven her brightness, and fair to look on, hath beamed forth her splendor. From heaven with hymns the Holy One was wakened. Brightly to both worlds came the wealthy lady. To morning Agne, when she comes refulgent, thou goest forth soliciting fair riches. On law's firm base, the speeder of the mornings, the bull hath entered mighty earth and heaven. Great is the power of Varuna and Mitra, which bright hath spread in every place its splendor. And it's important to realize when it comes to some entities or some aspects, there's a waxing and a waning. Hymn 362, Indra and Others, 18 verses. Your well-known prompt activities aforetime need no impulse from your faithful servant, where Indra Varuna is now that glory wherewith ye brought support to those who loved you. This man most diligent, seeking after riches, incessantly invokes you for your favor. accordant Indra Varuna with Marutas, with heaven and earth. Hear ye mine invocation, O Indra Varuna. Ours be this treasure, ours be wealth. Marutas with full store of heroes. May the Varutris with their shelter aid us, and Bharati and Hotra with the mornings. Be pleased with our oblations, thou loved of all gods. Brihaspati, give wealth to him who brings thee gifts. At sacrifices with your hymns worship the pure Brihaspati. I pray for power which none may bend, the bull of men whom none deceive, the wearer of each shape at will. Brihaspati most excellent, divine resplendent Pushan, this our newest hymn of eulogy, by us is chanted forth to thee. Accept with favor this my song, be gracious to thee, earnest thought, even as a bridegroom to his bride. May he who sees all living things see them together at a glance. May Pushan be our help. May we attain that excellent glory of Savitar the god. May he who stimulate our prayers with understanding earnestly of Savitar the god we crave. Our portion of prosperity, men singers worship Savitar the god with hymn and holy rites, urged by the impulse of their thoughts. Soma, who gives success, goes forth, goes to the gathering place of gods, to seat him at the seat of law. To us and to our cattle may Soma give salutary food. To biped and quadruped may Soma, strengthening our power of life and conquering our foes, in our assembly take his seat. May Mitra Varuna, sapient pair, bedew our pasturage with oil, with meat the regions of the air. Far rolling, joyful when adored, ye reign through majesty of might, with pure laws everlasting, lauded by Jamadagna's song. Sit in the place of holy law, drink Soma, ye who strengthen law. And we see the implication here that these divine names are, even the light beings, they're not, it's not worshiping heaven, it's not worshiping earth, it's not worshiping the entity of this, that, and other. It's not worshiping this, that, and the other physical thing or force of nature as if it was a, just nature worship. Worshiping entities that are beyond that, within that, are an entity. And we can seek out, well, how is God showing love, right? Are, as I said, people who believe in gods are, see, the word gods, it's like, what do people mean? It's like, well, people worship a lot of things. That doesn't mean it's not necessarily appropriate to translate everything that people are treating as a deity, as if that term that we're using is as such. Mandala 4, hymn for 1 Agni, 20 verses. Thee, Agni, have the gods ever of one accord sent hither down, a god-appointed messenger, yea, with their wisdom sent thee down, the immortal, O thou holy one, mid-mortal man. The god-devoted god, the wise have they brought forth, the omnipresent god, devoted sage. As such, O Agni, bring with favor to the gods thy brother Varuna, who loveth sacrifice, true to the law, the Aditya, who supporteth men, the king, supporter of mankind. Do thou, O friend, turn hither him who is our friend, swift as a wheel, like 2 car steeds in rapid course, wondrous to us in rapid course. O Agni, find thou grace for us with Varuna, with Marutas, who illumine all. Bless us, thou radiant one, for seed and progeny, yea, bless us, thou a wondrous god. Do thou, who knowest Varuna, O Agni, put far away from us the god's displeasure. Best sacrificer, brightest one, refulgent, remove thou far from us all those who hate us. Be thou, O Agni, nearest us with succor, our closest friend, while now this morn is breaking. Reconcile to us, Varuna, be bounteous in joy. The gracious juice be swift to hear us. Excellent is the glance of brightest splendor, which the auspicious god bestows on mortals. The god's glance, longed for even as the butter, pure heated of the cow, the milch cow's bounty. 3 are those births, the true, the most exalted, eagerly longed for. Of the god of Agni he came, invested in the boundless region, pure, radiant, friendly, mightily resplendent. The envoy joyeth in all seats of worship, borne on his golden car, sweet-tongued invoker, lovely to look on, with red steeds, effulgent like a feast, rich in food, joyous forever, allied by worship. Let him give man knowledge, by an extended cord may lead him onward. He stays effectual in this mortal's dwelling, and the god wins a share in his possessions. Let Agni, for he knows the way, conduct us to all that he enjoys of God-sent riches. What all the immortals have prepared with wisdom. Yaus, sire, begetter, raining down true blessings. In houses first he sprang into existence, at great heaven's base, and in this region's bosom, footless and heedless and headless, both, his ends concealing. In his bull's lair, drawing himself together, wondrously first he rose aloft, defiant in the bull's lair, the home of holy order, longed for, youthful, beautiful, and far resplendent. And 7 dear friends sprang up unto the mighty. Here did our human fathers take their places, fain to fulfill the sacred law of worship. Forth drave they with loud call, dawn's teeming milch kine, bid in the mountain stable, in the cavern. Splendid were they when they had rent the mountain. Others around shall tell forth this, their exploit. They sang their song, prepared to free the cattle. They found the light. With holy hymns they worshipped, eager with thought intent upon the booty. The men, with their celestial speech, threw open the solid mountain firm, compact, enclosing. Confining cows, the stable full of cattle, the milch cow's earliest name, they comprehended. They found the mother's thrice 7 noblest titles. This the bands knew, and sent forth acclamation. With the bull's sheen, the red one was apparent. The turbid darkness fled, the heaven was splendid. Up rose the bright beam of celestial morning. Surya ascended to the wide expanses, beholding deeds of men, both good and evil. Then afterwards they looked around, awakened, when first they held that heaven allotted treasure. Now all the gods abide in all their dwellings. Varuna Mitra, be the prayer effective. I will call hither brightly beaming Agni, the herald, all supporting best at worship. He hath disclosed, like the milch cow's pure udder, the soma's juice, when cleansed and poured from beakers, the freest god of all, who should be worshipped, the guest, who is received in all men's houses, Agni, who hath secured the god's high favor, may he be gracious to us. Vedas. Now, the Quran has this idea that the worst thing worshipped is, oneself, right? And so therefore it's better to worship something falsely, right, than to not worship at all. But of course, the only one truly worthy of worship is the one that doesn't have these limits. Now, connecting to some mythologies here, we have this idea of a celestial speech, these secret divine names or whatever. But celestial speech could also refer to the revealed scripture, you could say, even though at the time it was, like the Rigveda, parts of it could have been an oral tradition for 40,000 years, or it could have been rendered from oral tradition, and some of the other Vedic stuff could have gone back millions of years. It's like how do they know, right? How do they know these things?